Shri Ganeshaya Namaha. Om Shri Saraswatyai Namaha. Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Samasta Jana Kalyane Niratang Karunamayam Namami Chinmayan Devam Sadgurum Brahmavidvaram Sadgurum Brahmavidvaram समचरणसरोजं सान्द्रनीलाम्बुदाभं जघनविहितपाणिं मण्डनं मण्डनानां तरुणतुलसीमालां कन्धरं कञ्जनेत्रं सदयधवलहासं विठ्ठलं चिन्तयामि विठ्ठलं चिन्तयामि. OB 470. At that time, the king ran forward, held his feet by his hands, and worshipped him, took a round about him, and again put his head on the feet of great Guru. 471. The king was perplexed. He could not say, "You may go," or could he say, "Please stay," because it would mean that the king was using his power in that order, though it was a request. The parting was also unbearable, so words did not come out of his mouth. 472. This condition of the king caused great compassion to rise in the mind of Sri Dattatreya, and he put his hand on the head of the king and with a cheerful mood said, 473, "From today, you will not feel that I am away from you. There will be no estrangement. There will be no estrangement." So saying, the Lord Dattatreya started from that place. 474. He went in the same happy condition as he had come. The king was completely satisfied and was forever happy by attaining self-knowledge. अवधूत वाचः श्रुत्वा पूर्वेशान् न स पूर्वजः सर्वसङ्गविनिर्मुक्तसमेचितो बभूवः. Meaning of the verse: the king who was the ancestor of our forefathers became free from all attachment and his mind was peaceful. 475. Uddhava, who was in front of the Lord Sri Krishna, the Lord said to him, "The king Yadu was the ancestor of our forefathers. He was the leading monarch of his times." 476. You may say that all this appears to be strange because you do not know even his name, but see, from his name only we are all called Yadavas. 477. Lord Krishna, who was the son of Nand, said cheerfully further that Yadu was her ancestor. He had the dialogue with the Lord Dattatreya about the spiritual wisdom. 478. By having relief in the advice given by Dattatreya in their dialogue, Yadu was able to leave all attachments. 479. One who goes away from the objects of attachments should be called as a renouncer of attachments. But one who is among the objects of attachment but is aloof should be called free from attachments. 480. Just as the sky is in and out of all things but not adhered to them, so if a man who is aloof is called really free from attachments. 481. Yadu was, however, more than that. O Uddhava, I shall tell you how. 482. By virtue of the teaching given by the Lord Dattatreya, Yadu was not at all aware of what is attachment. This state must be called unique freedom. 483. The two ideas, I was previously living in duality and now I am free from duality, are both illusions. One must understand that one is free, not from something, but free only. 484. A rope is never actually becoming a serpent. It is mistaken to be a serpent. That illusion also is removed by proper seeing of the rope. This illusion is only conceived by mistake in our own vision. 485. The rope is a rope. Confused persons see the serpent on it by mistake. Similarly, the king, by disillusionment of the wrong notion of duality, became the aloneness in the trance. 486. It is trance or samadhi when one is merged in oneself in the totality of existence of the self. The king thus entered the state of Brahman. 487. The Lord Sri Krishna said to Uddhava, If being born in such a family and such a race, you will not acquire the self-knowledge, the knowledge of Brahma, it will be blemish to your forefathers. 488. Speaking in harsh words, thus the Lord provoked Uddhava to be more earnest and ardent in his quest of the Brahman. 489. For example, if a poisonous black cobra is already angry and someone puts his foot on it, the cobra becomes quick in biting him. 490. Uddhava, who was already repenting, and the Lord Sri Krishna admonished him, this provoked him more to make all efforts for attaining the absolute freedom, which is meant as being merged into Parabrahman. 491. The dialogue between Uddhava and the Lord is in the next chapter, which contains the signs of Guru and a disciple. The clever listeners may please listen to that dialogue. 492. Eka of Janardana says, the speech of Lord Krishna is very deep in its meaning. Though I am not able to convey it totally, the mind becomes satisfied by its natural sweetness. 493. Even if sugar is given a shape of a bitter fruit, it does not lose its sweetness. Similarly, even if the dialogue is described in Marathi, there is a bliss and joy completely filled in that dialogue. 494. Even if gold is given the shape of a stone, the gold cannot be sold at the cost of a stone. Similarly, though Bhagavata is taught in Marathi, it does not lose its self-knowledge. 495. People dive in the ocean for pearls, but if the same pearls are found in the domestic well, it will be foolish to throw them away. 496. Similarly, by learning Sanskrit knowledge with great efforts, a person may perhaps understand something of the spiritual life. One must not neglect or disregard the same knowledge if it is available in Marathi. 497. A rich and expert jeweler and a valuer will definitely pick up a real diamond if he finds it hidden in a heap of dust. He will not miss it. 498. Similarly, those who are really intelligent people should not disregard this Marathi description, but they should study and examine properly and try to understand the divine meaning. 499. A person of narrow mind and prejudiced opinion may find fault with the epics written by Lord Vyasa himself. Compared to that, this thesis is only in Marathi language. So you are requested to have no grudge or crooked view while reading this poetry. 500. Those who have real interest in joy, the bliss of the self, will not, it is hoped, find fault in this Prakrit Marathi language, but receive and enjoy the sweetness of the secret knowledge because they are interested in the spiritual way of life. 501. Only those who are thus found of spiritual bliss are worthy to read and understand this book. And he who has a devotion to the Bhagavata Purana will enjoy the self bliss. 502. But those who have no such devotion and are only erudite in language do not laugh at this Marathi language, will also find the essence of devotion in it later on. 503. Those who continuously criticize others never get higher stages in heaven. Gossip is an evil greater than many other sins which have no such destructive force. 504. Even by uttering the name of a person who is a habitual gossip, our speech becomes tarnished. So, in order to purify the speech, one should repeat the name of Sri Ram. 505. In a way, there is implied goodness in the gossip because the man who blames others spoils his own character but tries to point out the vice in others, by which exposure the man becomes aware of his shortcomings and many wash out the sins and may wash out the sins. 506. Therefore, the listeners are requested to disregard the good points as well as the vice and remain quiet. Further, is it necessary to announce purposefully the sweetness of the narration which is spoken by Lord Sri Krishna himself? 507. So, this dialogue between the Lord Sri Krishna and Uddhava definitely destroys ignorance, and therefore, Eka of Janardana requests that it may be listened to with rapt attention. This is the end of Marathi commentary by Eknath on the 9th chapter of the 11th skanda of Bhagavata Mahapurana. dedicated to Lord Shri Krishna. Chapter 10. Om. Salutations to Lord Shri Krishna. Om. Salutations to Lord Shri Ganesha and Lord Shri Krishna. My salutations are offered to Sadguru, who is the divine doctor Dhanvantari, whose sight removes our ailments and makes us healthy. Without Sadguru, we cannot remove the ailments of the worldly life by anybody else. Two, people are harassed by calamities of all the three types, belonging to our own body, belonging to other beings and things, but affecting us. And thirdly, those attack us through destiny. They are always chattering using the Vedic terminology. Taking the concept of I and mine really leads a man to disaster. 3. They suffer from the disease of duality, which leaves a bitter taste on their tongue. That is why they always use bitter language. 4. In the prostration due to the disease, they kick off the sense of pro- propriety and discrimination. They throw away their courage in the fit of mad pursuit of worldly things and begin to roam aimlessly in the jungle of passion. 5. They are caught in the mud of mental projections of hope, cried due to frustration, drawn themselves in the mirage of future planning, and when they try to climb the hill of heaven, they fall down. Their feet slip on the steps. Their feet slipping on the steps. 6. They are scratched by the thorny bushes of Maya. The thorns of the berry tree of greed pierce the worldly way of life. They tenaciously hold on and never move away even if beaten. 7. See how madly they play mischief due to illusion and fantasy caused by the fever of mundane life. They eat what should not be eaten. They commit what should not be done. And enamored by women, they run after them. 8. They tremble by fear about money and its loss. And having a shock, their minds are shivering and they are sweating. They hide themselves at some secluded place, living in their private dream. 9. When they are sullen with pride, they become so restless that they cannot relax on a bed or anywhere else. They throw away the body covers of code of conduct. They do not get a moment's shut eye. 10. They cannot concentrate their mind even for a moment. Their intellectual capacity becomes weak and they lie down lazily in their thirst for pleasure. They are always hankering and panting for water of sensual pleasures through outer objects. 11. If this water is given to them in the proper limited quantity, they find it not enough and lamentingly cry, "This is not sufficient. Please give us more water." 12. They suffer from chronic fever due to continuous breaking the rules of proper intake, etc. And later on, the body becomes a prey to consumption. 13. There is severe emaciation, and as there is great anxiety due to inward maladies, there is absolutely no iota of happiness. 14. This disease is so powerful that the spiritual life tastes bitter and tasteless. Objects appear to be sweet. 15. To eradicate this disease, we have to take the decoction of God's stories. What happens? In the mouth of listening, there are teeth of faith, but they are fixed upon each other like lockjaw, and we do not like to hear them. 16. If the juice of tulsi leaves and nectar are given to him to put in his mouth, he does not accept it. On the contrary, he turns his head in abhorrence. Thus, he is permanently down with the fever of samsara or worldly involvements. 17. Seeing this malignant and stubborn disease, Sadguru, who is an expert doctor, comes forward and by kindly looking at the man, cures him immediately. 18. As that doctor is very intelligent, he does not allow him to be destroyed, though his sense of being a separate jiva, which is a root cause of the malady, being destroyed. He maintains the man's life without the jiva, the separate entity. Such is the wisdom of the Sadguru. 19. It is the great good fortune of a man, the disciple, that the Guru looks at him with benedictory gaze of a tortoise, which becomes for the man like sipping of nectar, and he is rejuvenated. 20. Then the seekers start taking the appetizer of discrimination very carefully. 21. But his hidden fever does not subside by that medicine, nor the symptoms of consumption disappear. So the Sadguru begins to give him the elixir. 22. He gives the patient the elixir of half syllable of Om. Then the consumption is no more and the seeker regains his health as he becomes again the indestructible Atman. 23. Then Sadguru keenly scrutinizes the patient by vision of acute aesthetic attitude and imposing upon him the regimen of constant awareness of the Atman, thus curing him of the malady of worldly life. 24. When the patient is completely cured, he eats eagerly the mental worries by roasting them. 25. The four calves are black and white grams, which he roasts in the fire of four ashrams, applies the jaggery of ajapajapa to them, and gulps them. 26. He also ate the opium poppies of hope together with a desire for fruit. 27. He began to eat the laddus of action and inaction, mixing them in the liquid sugary malt. 28. He saw the delicious dish of I am Brahman and started to chase the Maya out. 29. Then that Maya ran away through fear and disappeared by being a totally false thing. Then self bliss became very sound as the melody of the worldly life was eradicated. 30. When I thought of surrendering myself to you, who are such a doctor, I experienced that I saw you alone everywhere and in everything. 31. To think myself as separate from you is also impossible, and to surrender myself is also not possible because you have destroyed the me and you, the separateness of identities. 32. Those who have become Atmarama by destruction of the knot of the sense of Jiva, are also the desireless devotee of you. So, such is the state of mind of those who have attained the wholeness of life. 33. Those who think that freedom is greater than the devotion of Guru are also foolish because very few know that the freedom is a servant of the feet of Sadguru. 34. The fact that the fact is that due to the kind gaze of Sadguru, we are very healthy. We are honored because Sadguru has blessed us. We are lucky because we serve the Sadguru and we have attained all our worthiness by our act of praising our Sadguru. 35. The name of Sadguru is worth all the Vedas for us. And we consider the name of Sadguru greater than any mantra, anywhere and any time. 36. The sacred water touched by the feet of Sadguru makes all the sacred tirthas really sacred. The feet of Sadguru is our work field and we are the owners of this property. 37. Oh Sadguru, you may perhaps say that this praise is not necessary, so I should stop. But I swear that I am not at all satisfied by praising your greatness. 38. In undertaking the work of commenting on the Bhagavata, my main purpose was to be able to praise you. I was guided on the path of devotion and kirtana by you only. 39. Oh my Sadguru, you are the lion who destroys the elephant in the form of worldly life. Oh Janardana, victory be to you. I by myself being alone have come to your feet. 40. I got this Bhagavata by Guru's blessing. Bhagavata by Guru's blessing. Please listen to the main theme of it. The Lord Sri Krishna will now give this teaching about spiritual way of life to Uddhava. 41. By listening to the 24 teachers and their exemplary teachings contained in the dialogue between the King Yadu and Avadhuta, Uddhava was merged into the state of seeing and experiencing Brahman everywhere. 42. Uddhava thought, Brahman is omnipresent. It is in me and outside me. But I do not yet really experience this. What should I do about it? 43. The Lord knew this the Lord knew this worry in the mind of Uddhava, and he started to tell Uddhava what can be done in this matter. Shri Bhagavanuvacha Mayoditeshva Vihitaha Sarvadharmeshu Madashrayah Varnashramakula Chara Makatma Makat Makamatma samacharet. Meaning of the verse, the Lord said, you should follow in your practical life, taking refuge in me in your own duties, keeping close to what I have expounded just now, and remaining free from all selfish desires. Perform your family duties according to your caste and stage in your own life. 44. I myself taught in the ancient times through Vedas the religion according to the framework of Varna, social classes, and ashrama, status in life according to age and duty. I have taught the secret of my worship as given in the books like Narada Pancharat- Pancharatra, which is the code of conduct of Vaishnavas. Man should follow the code of conduct, the rules of behavior and duty according to his age, family status, and the social caste to which he belongs. If he follows others' duties, he has to suffer much. Yeah, it is 10:11.
We can stop here.
Yeah.
Which it was, I think, 45.
Yes,
45.
45.
Okay. Okay, let me see. So,
Yeah.
so I think now we entered that stage where Lord Krishna is talking. No, all along we had other people giving advice and things like that. So I think this is where the whole Uddhava Gita will start, I guess.
And the importance of the Guru Sadguru.
Guru.
It was so beautifully described, like how can Guru change us completely, change our heart and mind.
Exactly. True. I mean, there was one thing in the other, chapter. Where was it that that line was very.
I like this Ovis 483, where I can say that I am neither free but I am free. When we surrender completely to that Lord or the Guru, that I and minus is gone there, and we can't say that we are neither
free or
free.
yeah.
That me, I shouldn't come.
And also this one, 479, one who goes away from objects of attachment should be called as renouncer of attachment. That means he's just giving it up. But one who is among the objects of attachment and still not, but is aloof, he should be called free from attachment. That means there's absolutely no temptation, even though he's in that situation. So that is a very difficult thing, no? For any person who's aware, they can say everything. I don't have any desires. I'm not attached. But he put in a situation and still we. So even in Bhagavad Gita also we have certain
karma, practice of karma yoga within the.
Exactly.
Yeah, correct. Nice.
And then of course he also again brings about the varna, no? That you have to do what you. I mean, if you are that, you must have that aptitude to do it. If you belong to a particular caste not as in birth, but the varna system is different. What is their guna or their aptitude? So that is also said here. So that is why he says, even if a sugar is given a shape of a bitter fruit, it does not lose its sweetness. So, like they also say, rose by any other name is still the same.
Yeah.
Like that. Yeah. Thank you, Nikhila. Anybody else? I don't know who else was there today. Vinisha, hello. And
Pajji, everybody.
Firstly, apologies, Nikhila. I have a bad throat, so I just stepped out and I was still on the Zoom. I'm sorry.
Are you in Singapore now?
Yeah, I just got back yesterday and I was thinking, what luck, because I believe today all the flights have been delayed and diverted and so on.
Oh, yeah, because of heavy rain, is it?
Yeah. I'm back for this trip. Let's see when the next one happens.
Yeah, okay. Venkatesh,
yeah, go ahead.
Is there anything you would like to share?
Yeah, so I think when we were towards the end of the earlier chapter, I was reminded about how in Ramcharitmanas, Tulsidas ji gives the same thing. How he tells that don't go by the language, just understand the particular, because he had written it in Awadhi language. the same thing here. Eknath ji has written. So that is one thing I found, that's similarity. And I think s- some of the, like point 25, the four castes are black and white grams, which he rose in the fire of four ashrams, applies the jaggery of Ajapa Japa to them and gulps them. Now, this Ajapa Japa is a technique. Probably I am not a subject. We must ask
Well,
Varsha ji about this. But
correct.
this Ajapa Japa, if we do, I think there is a definite way in which this has to be done, and probably you will then see how that particular coordination will happen. So that is one thing which we must ask. I'm just
And
making a note of it.
next week, first point, we will ask Varshaji on this.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, yeah.
Good.
Yeah. And then I think some of these, I think we must really, as I think Nikhila ji and all have been telling, we must contemplate. By reading first time, it comes as a shock, but we must really chew this. So it needs constant reading for us to really understand and try to see how much we can practice on this. This daily we read it now, how much of ourself, that I-ness and the duality which is there, how much of it is actually getting, uh, I mean, eroded or whatever you call. We must really see this. And every time when we read, we feel that something at the back. This is something we have not been practicing and we must practice.
That's true.
Yes.
Jap, which happens in mind. She's answering your question now.
Yes. Correct. Thank you very much for the time.
Varshaji here type like japa, which happens in mind continuously, automatically, even without we doing it deliberately. Jap, which happens in mind. Maybe that is,
Mananam.
yeah, man.
Ajapa,
Yeah.
that means you're
Ajapa,
not
japa.
doing any count, I think, but it just continuously happens all the time.
Correct.
Runs in the backdrop. Yeah.
Mm,
Without deliberately thinking about it.
mm,
Not mananam.
not mananam. Mm. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.
Hari Om.
Yeah.
Say Ram is jap.
What did she say? Let's say Ram is Jap.
Ram Ram.
Mm. Then in mind, Ram continues.
Oh, I see. Okay. Like that Shruti thing, probably, right?
Yeah,
Oh,
the background music,
the
like
music, yes.
say,
Yes,
it
yes.
will have like a background music.
Correct.
Continues without we doing it consciously.
Consciously, correct. And then the one is he gives the patient the auxiliary of the half syllable of Om. That's really good. Then the consumption is all, the seeker regains his health and he becomes again the indestructible Atman. How important is chanting of Om?
Mm.
Varshaji is writing and is constant. Very good.
So much sadhana is needed that the mind constantly thinks about God or that background music for that, no?
Yeah,
Correct.
a lot.
Lot.
Single pointedness has to be there. We are all caught up in our daily lives. That's the problem.
Lata, I like that thing about free from attachment.
Yeah.
Even in the midst of it, it's
Yes. Yep. That is the one. Even I told Nikhila, he's not a sannyasi, but he is, the slight difference, because he's in the midst of all the attractions and yet he's able to be aloof. That is very hard.
I think the biggest example of it is always in terms of food and anger for me. If I find that I can restrain myself on food and not get angry, I feel it's a little getting over the hump.
Food is easy to, at least for me, but sometimes uttering things without thinking, that is something, So each one, I think, has certain things we want to conquer. You have a bad cough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hari Om.
Hari Om.
Hari Om.
Thank you. Thank
I
you.
think Purnamada, I think we have not
Yeah,
done.
Yeah, please do.
Yeah.
पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः हरिः ॐ श्रीगुरुभ्यो नमः हरिः ॐ श्रीकृष्णार्पणमस्तु
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hari Om.
Thank
Hari
you,
Om.
everyone.
Hari Om.
Hari Om.
Varsha ji, you can end the meeting.